So,
It's too much love.
nah, don't worry. This is Joao. He's the creator and organizer of the Kizomba Festival here in Lisbon. Congratulations, great event. I've been going here for the last 3 years, and it's actually one of my favorite ones. Actually, I've been to 3, so it's not hard. But still, my first question.
Well, I hope I'm not number 3.
Nah. No, for now you're number 1. I have to try some, but this is like, yeah, this is my favorite for now.
No, you're not saying that just because you're next to me.
Nah, don't worry.
No pressure, right?
Nah, no pressure. Never. So why like festivals? Did you like say like, okay, we're gonna call it like festival, and then you invented the word?
Nah, this is the 7th edition, and I started this in 2010.
Yeah.
And at the time, I wanted something that would be like Lisbon's International Kizomba, and then this word was just suggesting, like.
Yeah.
And basically, what happened was I wanted to find a word that would go well with the rest.
Yeah.
So I could use the first letters of each word,
of course,
to create the like, because I wanted a word that would be catchy for people, easy to remember, and like normal.
Yeah, like, and it was like the explosion of Facebook. Everybody wanted to like.
Yeah,
good, and, smart boy. Smart boy.
And I was on like our vacations home with my parents and so on. And we were just talking around and like, what kind of word can I use? Or like with the E. And my father actually was the one suggesting energy. And I was like, that is it, because it has to do everything with Kizomba.
Yeah.
And the name stayed, and everything started developing from there in terms of the name.
Yeah, nice. So, if I was organizing a Kizomba festival for the first time, and I would ask you,
I would say you're crazy.
If I was organizing, I wanted to organize, and I need 4 words that would guide me to the right direction of what's important to do a Kizomba festival.
Quality.
Yeah.
Passion.
Yeah.
It's really 4 words.
Yeah, 4 words.
Creativity.
Yeah.
And it's not 1 word, but not afraid of risking.
Yeah. So there. What is apart from your festival? What are for you the 3 greatest Kizomba festival where you've been? Nobody wants to answer this question.
No, man, it's difficult because I'm a teacher in some of them.
Everybody has a good reason.
And I cannot be saying like, oh, so you didn't say my festival?
No, I mean, imagine like, okay, this is the first time I've never been to a Kizomba festival. You give me like, okay, apart from like festival, what are the 3 festivals where I should go?
I'm not gonna tell you 3. I'm gonna tell you 1.
Okay.
Or consider the 3, the 2 of mine, or
no.
Or actually, it's not just 2, because we have this light festival here in Lisbon. We have a light festival in London.
Oh, I want to go.
In February. It's a smaller version, but really nice atmosphere. Man, you're welcome.
I'm coming.
We have a new festival now in Algarve called Sunrise Beach Festival. Kizomba Sunrise Beach Festival in the first weekend in June. And we have also, I have with a friend, a festival called Toma Toma in Bratislava.
Ooh,
yeah.
Nice. This one too, I want to go.
It's a really great atmosphere. So, not talking about the festivals that we organize, because usually I think they are quite positive events. I would say that my most favorite festival to go to is the Varso Kizomba Festival.
Okay. What is what makes it the favorite for you?
The quality of the dance there. The level is in generally very high. People dance really good. The organizer is simply amazing. She's thinking always about everything. She's a very throughout the years become a very close friend. But the concept is very similar to what we do. Is educationally focused. Is not so much interested in going into the commercial side of it. So
of course,
money is not the most important thing. Of course, it's important because we have to be sure that we can survive, and we can, because we only do this.
And come back the next year, of course.
And but above all, we have to make sure that we manage to fulfill all our responsibilities. Right? So it's not easy, but our main focus is not just it's not about the profit. It's about what we give to the people, and I think somehow this is one of the main keys on for example, this festival or here, we focus on what we give to people, because their experience is the best thing we can get if it's a good one. And in this world, when we love what we do, because this is I believe this is one of the most important things. When we love what we do, first of all, I have a big passion, a big respect for a culture that is not mine. It belongs to my brothers, and even.
I don't agree with you, but continue.
No. It's not mine by birth. It's not something that I'm born with it. It's not my environment.
But I believe that culture doesn't belong to nobody. It's like, of course, you can.
I'm Portuguese. So I have my Portuguese.
You have your culture.
Sorry, man. This is my wife. You know how it is. My culture, I would say, it's a Portuguese culture, right? But in many ways, I identify myself more with the new culture that I embraced.
This is why I say it's your culture.
But it's
Because culture is not something that's defined. Culture just
but
evolves.
When I say it's not my culture, is out of respect for the people that were born with it. I cannot say, for example, to an Angolan that your culture is my culture.
Of course.
I agree. I can say that I love your culture, and I do all the best I can
embrace it
to make it as more accurate as possible when I'm spreading, because
of course,
with what we do, we spread the word, we spread the culture, and it's important that we do a proper job, and that we give the correct message to people that are new to this culture, which in many cases doesn't happen because people don't investigate, people just want to make money out of it, they just want to take the vibe and the opportunity of the boom and so on. But I think is the most important work that we can do in festivals is the work of educating people. Because if we direct people in the right way, people are gonna see all the potential, all the beauty of the culture where we are all into now, and to see beyond the commercial and let's say the materialistic side of it, because everything in life has a more materialistic side, or has more authentic side. So we have to work in authentic, because this is what makes your life richer, in my opinion.
But that's the thing. In terms of music, I've been making music for 20 years now. Way more than that, but I've been commercially for 20 years.
Really?
And,
you were doing that already in your mama's belly?
Exactly. Like, so we went from being 20 artists representing the ZOUK R&B, whatever, to now millions every day. Like my boy from kizomba was here. His page, you go one day, there's 25 songs. You go the next day, there's 25 new songs. It's becoming harder and harder to know between the good, the bad,
most of them are bad.
most of them are bad. Exactly.
I'm sorry, I'm very honest.
Oh no, I agree.
I listen to some songs and like I think like, how is this possible that this person is singing?
Exactly. So, and to me, I think like I remember when kizomba was when it was something that we discovered. Me and Elijah, we came here in Portugal. Wow, interesting. It's like ZOUK, but a little bit different, etc., etc. And then first there was the first boom of the just us performing, me, Nelson Freitas, Elijah, Junior,
yeah.
and then with this, all the salsa dancers turning to kizomba, and kizomba becoming something so big, even here in Portugal, becoming mainstream. All of a sudden, we had millions of singers, and that you don't have like, you need like a job just to know what is good, what is bad, to have the curation. And I feel like with the explosion of kizomba as a festivals, as a, first of all, a commercial venue of people all these people from all around the world just traveling to go to kizomba festivals. There's a lot of people too who just come here trying to make money, and they organize bad festivals. And how, like, I've been to some festivals, sometimes like, why do they call this a festival? It's not a festival. It's just one room with no lights, a DJ and bad sound. But it's the same as music. So how can we make the difference between a good festival and a bad festival? How do you know, like, yeah, you have to go and
it's very simple. Think like this. Anyone that is new to the scene, they don't have the right information as anything else in life. If for example, if the only thing you know is McDonald's, for you McDonald's is very good,
of course.
But if you get to know authentic, really good food, you start seeing that McDonald's is shit. Sorry, McDonald's, all the respect, but
no, wait. From time to time, a good one new hamburger is good, but most of the time it's food that,
come on, so
full of fat and sugar.
Anyway, sorry the comparison, but I think this is a very
it is a good comparison. It is.
And people until they know more, they will not be able to define what is gourmet, what is not good.
But shouldn't there be like a governing or a guide Michelin with give stars?
A guide Michelin.
You know, that gives stars.
There is
the right ones.
You know, there is most of the people with the time and the initiative.
Oh, sorry. No problem. Kaysha.
With most of the people with the initiative to do something like this. They have the goodwill, but they don't have the knowledge.
Yeah, of course.
And
some just want to make money.
And then there is the other problem. Imagine that I would start something. It's very risky because I could be seen as like to have like a tendency only to prefer some and not others. Because it's such a delicate matter. That, for example, there are teachers that I see people comment, people like, oh wow, so good, and I'm looking at it, oh my god, this is so much crap. How is it possible to even comment this?
I know.
But the fact is that this is happening, and some people actually think this is really good. And so when you have that kind of people, and it's enough for you to say like, I'm sorry, but this is crap. Everybody's gonna be like, oh, poor guy. Now people are attacking him. You know, it's a really complicated matter.
Because it's like in music. A lot of people are saying that what works is crap, but at the same time, the people who are the listeners and the customers, they just want to listen to music. Most of the time, they're drunk in a club, so they just want to hear la la la, a good song that they like with a good chorus, and that's it. And the people who work a lot to do some quality work, sometimes they're just like, oh, come on, you're boring.
It's not only boring. The quality work sometimes requires a level of sensibility and knowledge in a way that will allow to appreciate. Everything that is fast made, everything that is in a commercial way, it's easier to consume, it's easier to feel, it's easier to listen, and it's in a way it's simpler than when you have something more. Let's go back to the food. You know, it's like the same way as doing a gourmet kind of meal with a lot of detail here, detail there. And you have
good old burger,
just a normal burger with just some cheese on top and tomato, and that's it. And then, okay, because this one is easier, many times it's cheaper, and it's easier access to it. The other one is more elaborated. It's more expensive. It's not so easy to get.
And sometimes the taste tastes complicated because.
And people, it's the same thing with music.
They want simple things.
Dance. People need to know more so they can start being more selective. On what they want to consume. True. I believe this is the way it goes.
So there's something I never understood in the world of kizomba. I hear wars about the real kizomba dancers and the fake ones, which would be the urban kids or whatever. When for me everything is an evolution. Like
it's very.
You had ZOUK before. You have Rumba. You had all these things before. Kizomba is just an evolution of something, and then you have it's forking. Like art is just something that is always moving, and it's interesting to me because sometimes I talk to people and they seem like almost racist.
I can give you my. It's not about being racist. I can give you my perspective. I don't believe it's pointing fingers to people. That we're gonna get somewhere.
Of course.
But it's by trying to make to explain in a more simple way. How is one side? How is the other one?
Exactly.
How they go together and how they don't go together.
Of course, it's a fork. It's like house music. You have so many different things. You have the big one that everybody know, and then there's all the branches that form.
Yes. You know, it's. I think it's a little bit more complicated than that, because this goes into other details. Than just a simple difference on the music, for example, because the problem is not so much the music, it's the dance.
The way to dance.
And that makes a difference. But if you give me the pleasure of joining me in the class, I'm going to be. This is a technical class about leading and following. And we're going to be talking about details that are really close to kizomba, and then sometimes I make some point out about difference between this and for example urban kids. And for the record, I think that urban kids is a very creative. It's nice. I just feel that it's not with all kinds of music. Doesn't fit with all kinds of music.
Just like salsa and everything else.
And at the same time, it's like, you know, the people just have to know what to do according to what they are listening to.
Of course.
Instead of, because I'm not the urban kids dancer, but I can inspire myself in moves and adapt them to the way I dance.
Of course. You know?
Because I'm not, I can dance in a more, and for the record, one thing is there is no traditional kizomba, okay? Because kizomba is an urban rhythm, as it's a mix from several parts of the world. It's not something that is purely originated in that country. But the dance, there is a more traditional way of dancing, and there is a more modern way of dancing. This is the difference that many times people don't really relate. They relate with the music, but they do it in the wrong way, because it's actually the traditional way of dancing and not the traditional music. You know? And there is always ways of adapting ourselves, the way we dance, according to what we listen, and this is the most important thing.
I agree.
Shall we continue after?
All right. We will.
See you later.